Hi laddies, did you know that Captain Flameheart is the warrior? Did I forget to mention that? That is really awful. You should cut that out.
No, it's gonna be the bumper. Don't worry about it. Welcome to the official, unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. Today's episode is all about the new best voyage in town, the Legend of the Veil. We will discuss this voyage from a gameplay perspective, but a big part of this podcast will be devoted to talk about the lore. Why are the ancients helping us? What's the story behind those ships in the shipwreck graveyard? And how is a pirate lord able to drink grog while being a ghost? These questions and more will be answered very shortly, and to help me out, I am once again assisted by my lovely co-host.
Hello, it's me, AShinyRay, back again for another co-host of the podcast. Yeah, I don't know what else to say at this point.
Yeah, you tried to change it up, but we're doing so many now that it's hard to do, right?
Yeah, it's making my brain tired. Like, have I said that already? Yeah, just wing it this time.
And also, we're close to recording because past weekend we also recorded another podcast. That was the one all about the Shrouded Deep, and we done that with Fox Eye, really great one. So if you haven't listened to that one, be sure to check it out. So this podcast is all about the Legend of the Veil. So let's quickly explain what the Legend of the Veil voyage is about. In short, it's a unique multi-chapter voyage exclusive to Pirate Legends. The voyage blends the infinite replayability of Trading Company voyages with the narrative-driven elements of Tall Tales into one grand, highly replayable, lore-infused experience. More specifically, this voyage tasks us with collecting Veil Stones to complete the Veil of the Ancients, an ancient artifact that draws power from the Sea of the Damned. The reason we complete this veil is so it doesn't fall in the hands of Flameheart and Reapers. There are 4 parts of this voyage. We have the Suds puzzle quest, the shipwreck graveyard exploration, the ancient statues with Bell, and the haunted forts. You will always complete 3 of these quests, with the ending always being the haunted forts. We will explain each part of this voyage, but in general, do we like it?
Yeah, it's the best piece of content we've had since Ships of Fortune, in my opinion. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, totally true. I like it as well. It's been a while since we had to wait for, big meaty Pirate Legend content. Do you feel the same way, that this is finally it after 4 years?
No. This is one voyage, and I think this should be a piece of the puzzle. Obviously, we should be getting captaincy for Pirate Legends on top of that, and I think just an overall boost to cosmetics would be nice for Pirate Legends as well, and make the hideout a bit nicer. At the moment, yeah, you grind to Pirate Legend and you just get rewarded with another voyage, albeit a really, really good one.
Aye, indeed. Yeah, we had other Pirate Legend voyages in the past. They always felt like more busy work, and this is the first voyage that actually feels like endgame content. Well, not really endgame content, but more content for experienced players.
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel the reward is almost like a rewarding voyage that isn't tedious to grind over and over again. Whereas we had the sort of refreshes to Merchant Alliance, Order of Souls, and the Gold Hoarders. Those were those voyages for those companies, and it just took too long for the Pirate Legend version to come out, in my opinion. Better late than never, though, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Better late than never, and that's how I always looked at it. It is a pity though, because the game was lacking in content at the beginning, and you definitely felt it with the Pirate Legend content back then. So it took a while, but yeah, like you said, I'm glad it's finally here.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's discuss this voyage bit by bit, and let's start with Suds. So potential part of this voyage is talking to him. He's knowledgeable about the ancients and might know where we can find a Veil Stone. But instead of doing it himself, we need to solve his quest first. And these come in 3 varieties. These can be a zoom map, a picture map, or a lying map quest. And with lying, I mean not telling the truth, instead of, it lays on the floor or something like that. So do we like this part of this voyage?
I really like the lying maps. That's probably my favourite, actually, and I like the picture map as well, because they're an actual challenge. The zoom map, consequently, has made the dig easier, because all the islands are really specific. It's meant to be like, oh, which island is this? It's more like, oh yeah, that's Crook's Hollow. We can dig that in one go. It's just, yeah. I don't know why they thought that would be more difficult for us.
Yeah, it's kind of true, but it feels good, right? If you have this small part of a map which you can instantly recognize, I don't think a lot of new players can do that, and I think that's where the gratification of this part of the voyage comes from.
Yeah, but it's for Pirate Legends anyway, so you should have a knowledge of the map to know, hey, that's Crescent Isle, that's Mermaid's Hideaway, that's Shores of Gold, if only that was the case.
Smuggler's Bay definitely gets easier. Like, that can be pretty hard to find the X on a normal map for that one.
As we found the other day.
Yeah, we took, I don't know, like half an hour to try to find one, but you don't have that problem with these Zoom maps. You said that the Lying Map quest is your favorite?
Yeah, because there's so much debate on the way between our critics. Like, nah, I think it's the spear. Nah, it's got to be the running people. I tell you what, let's bet on it, or something like that. And we get there and we're both wrong. And you know, it really does test your knowledge of the landmarks and the paintings. It's sort of tied in with a sort of island geography in a different way. It's a really creative choice in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true, and it's also different because a zoom map is just an X-marked spot map. We've had the picture maps before for the tall tales, and I don't think we had the lying maps before. So for those listeners that are still a bit confused about what a lying map is, you basically get a map of the entire island. It's pretty nicely drawn. And then you see different symbols of the paintings there, except one is not true, and that's the location you need to be at. I explained it well, right?
Yeah, that's correct. The picture maps are cool as well. When you get an island that's you get a really obscure picture. Lone Cove's really difficult, and I had one on Wanderer's Refuge that took me about 20 minutes to figure it out. Yeah, again, really creative. Those two are the cream of the crop for me in terms of map puzzles, whereas the Zoom map is just, it's easy mode, it's speedrun time, lads.
I guess so. There's not that much lore to discuss about this Suds part, or do you disagree?
Nah, he's just smoking crack or whatever Suds does, isn't he? Talking to his friends up in the stars. He doesn't really tell us much. His sort of diary entries, just sort of him circle jerking the ancients as per. Yeah, it's Suds in it. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, this part. Like, Suds knows a lot about the ancients, and he helps us with the location of a Veilstone. That's about it.
He's going to turn around. Oh yes. Hang on, I've got to do a really good Scottish accent now. Hi laddies, did you know that that Captain Flameheart is the warrior? Did I forget to mention that? That is really awful. You should cut that out.
No, it's going to be the bumper. Don't worry about it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Bell is an ancient and Captain Flameheart's an ancient. I should have mentioned that a few years ago, but it kind of slipped my mind. Yeah, sorry about that.
We'll see. The jury is still out on that one.
Well, not Bell. Bell was obviously
not Bell.
ancient.
Yeah, not Bell. I think we both agree on that one.
Yeah.
So let's go to the shipwreck graveyards, and those are a bit more interesting. In this part of the voyage, we explore a shipwreck graveyard in search of a key on one ship to open the door on the Grim Fortune. So these ships were all part of the same fleet. We presume they were all part of the Reaper faction, since the ship's log talks about them transporting the stone for their master. Not hard confirmed, but pretty reasonable to presume, that master is Flameheart or Flameheart Jr. All the ships were presumably sunk by the Sirens, including the ship that held the key. The ship that held the Veilstone fell behind the fleet and got sunk last. This for sure happened by the Sirens, and this is also why this ship is closest to the surface, because, it sunk last. We know this information by piecing together the ship's log and the Reaper message that got intercepted that's in our quest book. So do you agree So do you agree with what I just said?
Yeah, it's just poor Flameheart Jr. can't catch a break with all the ships being claimed by the Sirens, can he?
Yeah.
No wonder he hates them so much.
What do you think? Why did the Grim Fortune fall behind, or is that just a gameplay thing?
Probably a gameplay thing. I can't think of a lore reason why it'd fall behind unless you've got Sirens like clinging to the bottom of it, just dragging it down and then surprising them. I guess it's just a lore thing or a lore thing that explains gameplay.
Yeah, I think so too. Do we like these graveyards?
Yeah, I think they're amazing. It's nice to have shipwrecks where they should have been at launch. This is going to become a running theme, isn't it?
I guess so. I guess so. It's same with Belle, right? She should have been there with launch. But yeah, these shipwreck graveyards, they do remind me of the very first trailer, especially how they're kind of angled. I also like the bits of driftwood that comes from them and all the bubbles, so you can get some air as well. So they're really better than a regular shipwreck. It's also more fun to interact with all the stuff. Everything floats up, and it's just fun to do.
I really like how the hull is always sticking out of the water, so you don't mistake it. Like the merchant voyages, how sometimes the clues would be scattered around the actual ship, and it's always the deep version of the shipwreck. Whereas the white and gold ship is always sticking out of the water, so you know it's your ship, and other players know it's your ship.
Yeah, that is true. And this is an interesting point too, because I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard it from other pirates. The graveyard is always the same, like the ships are always located in the same position.
Yeah, from what I've seen. I mean, we do visit the one northeast of Ancient Spire like 100 times, so maybe it's just that one.
I think they are the same. Maybe there are some variations, but I haven't seen them yet. So who sailed the Grim Fortune? Is it Captain Grim, do you think?
I think, am I right in saying that I think canonically the Ashen Lords have been defeated now? Because we haven't heard from them in ages. It could be Captain Grim, like Grim's Fortune, Captain Grim. Is it with 2 M's though? It's not, is it?
No, it's not.
Maybe it's not then. Maybe it's just a nod, or the fact Grim Grey. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Grim Grey. I think that's the connection we need to make. I only put it here in the script because we might have some questions about that, because it does sound similar, but Captain Grim is indeed with 2 M's, so I don't think that's the case. What is the case probably is that it hints to the colors, because the other ships also have hints to colors as well, like the Queen's Envy, that is a green ship. We have the Crimson Revenge, which is a red ship, and the Golden Star, which is a yellow one. So do you think that's done on purpose, those names?
It's done to make them more, so to match the colours, so you can remember which ship you've been to. Especially if you're colourblind, you can remember the name, I suppose. And you can associate Queen's Envy with green, or what your vision of green is as a colourblind person. Or crimson. Crimson is red, so that's the closest colour to red. I think it's an accessibility feature as well as it's an accessibility feature for players who obviously colourblind and players who are not colourblind.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I've heard some other speculation that these ships are meant to represent the arena ships. How do you feel about that?
I don't buy it myself. They do match, but they're weirdly different shades. And I think, I don't know, if Rare wanted to link them as arena ships, would they be on the nose and make them the same colour? I think they would make them the same colour. But obviously there's something else later in the voyage that might make you think otherwise. Can I talk about that now?
Yeah, you're talking about the banners, right?
The banners, yeah, the Sea Dog banners. So half of them are the Imperial logo for the Spanish on the mini forts, or actually, I don't know if it's on the main garrison, but or it can be the Sea Dog logo, which is, I don't know, it's kind of strange considering these forts are conjured up by the memories of the Spanish. So does that mean some Spanish became sea dogs, or because Corsair sea dogs and it's all really confusing, isn't it? How can the Spanish who came to the Sea of Thieves earlier on have a memory of the Sea Dogs Tavern before the Sea Dogs even became a thing? So are Sea Dogs manning it and they're just Spanish? It is really weird. I don't know why they've done it. I'm sure it's going to tie in with the upcoming adventures or maybe even mysteries and things like that.
Yeah, I hope so, because again, it's always the case with these podcasts. Like, we answer some questions, but then there are some other stuff where we're like, oh, no idea, and why is this not explained? And now this is more questions than we have the answers for.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's still fun. I think it's just a hint, the banners, that is, and I think it might be just a reference for these ships. I actually talked to a game developer, and they said, well, these ships are just primary colors. Like, it's a gameplay thing. It's just so you can recognize the ships and easily navigate it. And that does make a lot of sense.
Because the shades don't exactly match the ones we have from Arena. They're all different shades.
Aye, indeed. We haven't seen these names pop up anywhere else, right?
No.
Yeah, we didn't. Back to the lore. Do we think the Sirens sunk these ships on their own accord, or were they following orders? Maybe orders from the Dark Brethren or the captain, maybe?
I don't think the Sirens are allied with the Dark Brethren anymore since the Queen disappeared, and Davy Jones mentioned specifically in the Tall Tale that he only has the Siren Queen's favour because he can summon the Kraken for them because they worship her.
Oh, yeah.
So I think with the severing of Davy Jones, I think the Sirens go with them, and now they're their own faction, and I don't think they have a leader anymore.
Again,
as if the Queen is dead. It's really ambiguous again because
it is. She just fades when you defeat her. It's not 100% confirmed. Do you think they left it open on purpose, that they don't know what they want to do with the Siren Queen, and right, she might be dead or she might be still alive?
Well, the Sirens have something to do with the current story based on the fact we had the Sunken Kingdom right before this, and the link to Bell somehow. So yes, they've obviously set up for this year coming. So we're probably going to get a circle back to Siren lore in the next few adventures, I think. Whatever you want to class her as, and Bell, Pirates, Flameheart, Sirens, Merfolk, and Ancients all together, and they're going to be linked somehow.
Yeah, I think so too. But for now, we can just presume these Sirens did it on their own accord, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, so it's a Siren thing to do, right? Dragging shipwrecks down to below.
Junior, another reason to hate them, considering what they did to the Silver Blade.
Yeah, that's so true. So something else that I want to mention is when you open the quest book, a lot of the information we get on the Veilstone locations are intercepted messages, like this one, because that shipwreck graveyard is actually an intercepted message from Flameheart Jr. to his minions. So who do you think intercepts these messages?
I think Flameheart Jr. lets them get intercepted by an agent of Ramsey or Bell or whoever you want to talk about. And I think having all the Veilstones, or 3 of the Veilstones, because there's 5 in the title screen, having 3 of them all together in the mask is maybe some part of Flameheart's plan. Maybe he's like 10 steps ahead, as he always is. And it doesn't matter who gets the Veilstones, as long as they're all together, because you can always take the veil later on, can't you?
Yeah, and this is also the part which shows that it is a game, because I'm like, just destroy the Veil of the Ancients, just destroy it, nobody can use it, and we're all done with it. So it can't be used against you, but they're never gonna do that because it's a video game, obviously.
It's kind of weird they wouldn't do that, but Ramsey obviously has some need for it. We'll get to that a little bit right at the end, because that's another bit of lore. But yeah, they've got a need for it. But do you let Thanos get the Infinity Stones? No, you don't do that, do you?
Nope. You kill Vision.
You kill Vision. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Get Ramsey to put it on, and Pendragon will kill him.
Oh yeah, maybe. Well, maybe Pendragon can use a sword to, I don't know, smash the stones or something like that. Or maybe it can't be destroyed because of magic. I accept that too as an answer.
It seems like he tries to destroy it, doesn't he? In the end of Shroud of Deep, and then he realizes it's not complete.
I always felt that he was, because the Order of Souls, they can read the memories. So I thought, because his sword is also attached to the Order of Souls, it was a way for him to see what happened to the veil, and feel a bit of its memories, so to say. As far as an object can have memories, obviously. So he can feel like, oh, this is actually incomplete, and you were scattered in the past. And I think that's what he was doing when he used his sword there.
I'm sure this will be another answer we'll get when we get Pendragon again. I can't wait to see Pendragon again.
Yeah, same. But to come back to these messages that get intercepted, I think it's a gameplay thing. But also, if it has to be a person, I think the female Mysterious Stranger would be a good candidate, because we haven't seen her. We recently got her sword for reaching level 100 in your renown, so she's obviously doing something. And intercepting messages for the Pirate Lord seems pretty obvious to me.
You're like pure shit, just want Gloria back. I do want her back in the game though, because her design was really cool, and nothing against the current mysterious stranger, but it was nice to have the variety because it looked like he had a right and left hand man then to scout the outposts for him, the Pirate Lord, I mean. So bring her back in an adventure or tall tale or something. Just bring her back.
I think we will see her back. I think the sword, like I said before, is a pretty big hint that she's still active and doing stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go to one of the most interesting aspects of this voyage, and that's the ancient statue part. So the ancient statue voyages in the Legend of the Veil will send you to an island to find Belle. Once she has been located, she provides us with an enchanted lantern. Using it will create a pulse of lighting emanating from other statues across the island. We light them all, and once the final statue is lit, a group of Reaper Phantoms will attack. Luckily, a troop of spectral ancients will help us out. At the end, we defeat the Soul Flame Captain, and an ancient priest appears and hands us the Veilstone. So, do we like this part of the voyage?
Yeah, it's a good part. It's probably the weakest new module because it's just combat again. We do get AI friends, and we get to see the ancients, but
how can you say this is the weakest part because we get so much lore?
Let me finish, okay?
All right. Okay.
Lore-wise is the best part. Sort of replayability-wise, it's I don't like fighting the Reaper Phantoms, and I especially don't like fighting the Soul Flame Captain. They're just, we've been fighting Phantoms for a long time, and they're just a bit annoying. And they don't even have the cool voice lines that they did in, Shrouded Islands. But I'd rather do this than other voyages, so, how bad really is it? Sorry, it's not bad at all. That's a silly way to put it.
Yeah, it's not. It's fine. It's just fine. Just changes the page. Then some mindless hacking and slashing. I know, kind of like doing that. You don't really need to use your brain for this one. Just need to follow the motion. Something that I want to mention that makes this part even easier is using firebombs, because those spectral ancients, they can't die, so you can set them on fire and they will, set everything on fire and you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, they'll literally chain it between everything and it'll keep going until the Soul Flame Captain arrives. It's so funny.
Aye, it is. So let's discuss the lore a little bit. So what are these statues and why do we need to light them?
So from what I can interpret from what the actual module is, so Belle gives us the lantern, that's the ferryman's, and we know that shows memories from the past that are sort of being pulled from the Sea of the Damned. We see it in Seabound Soul. When we go with Pendragon to release Captain Flameheart. Good job, mate. No, I say that seriously. Good job. And we're doing the same thing here, and we're seeing an ancient memory where they're performing a ritual, and it looks like the High Priest is trying to part the veil using this ritual. I don't know if he's got the veil on, doesn't he, when he's doing it?
I don't think he's trying to part it, but more bring the worlds together.
Okay, so yeah, so in a way, he's trying to bring the Sea of the Damned to them, or open a portal, or bring them together, whatever, based on the sort of ritual he's doing and the voice, the words he's uttering. These beacons that we light, they seem to be like almost like soul flames, I guess, because they glow green, don't they? And they've got this bowl it's a beacon, isn't it? And when you light all of them, it reveals the location, and we light another one to start the combat. So it's something to do with the soul flames being lit that, as we know, Junior's already told us, it brings the Sea of the Damned to the Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Is that how you'd interpret it?
No. It's more like the soul flame, reveals past memories. And like you said, we used it in the Pendragon Tall Tale, and we see the past memories of what happened to his crew, and we follow that story. And those are kind of like recent past memories, so to say. But when Belle gives us the Enchanted Lantern, I feel it's a more powerful flame that allows us to go even further back in time, like memory-wise. Back when, there were still statues on that island, statues that were being used for a ritual to bring the Sea of the Damned and the Sea of Thieves together and make them as one. And that was the original goal of that ancient priest. And those memories, we're interacting with them now.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't know, like, how to really interpret this without... They're obviously memories, aren't they? But it's hard to say if the lantern is stronger because Belle's using it, or it just has a general strength that works on any memories. I suppose we'll have to see And again, we'll get more answers as time goes on and as we learn more about Belle.
Yeah, maybe the soul flame just shows the memories you want to see most. So it doesn't need to be stronger or weaker. It's just the thing that it has, right?
Then whose memories are we witnessing then? Is it Belle's memories? Is she pulling those memories through the Sea of the Damned herself? Or is she conjuring up the memories of the High Priest?
She might know the ancients, right? So it could be Belle's memories. That was I thinking. Or just general memories, like they don't have to attach to a person. It's just what happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of fuzzy, because sometimes they make memories solid, and sometimes it's just looking what happened, right? Like we did on what was that quest with the Morning Star, where we see that crew. Like those memories, yeah, that we're not looking at specific memories, we're just looking at what happened before. And I think that's what we're doing right now.
That is a bit of a plot hole, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, can do multiple things, I guess.
Fair enough.
I'm not really that bothered by it. I do know some people think that these ancients are being dragged from the Sea of the Damned. You know, that's where the ancients now live as ghosts, and they're being dragged from there for this part of the Legend of the Veil voyage. And that's what I thought originally as well. But the ancient priest does talk about the past, like, I tried to bring the worlds together, but I know better now. I don't want to do that anymore. Here is the Veil Stone. So that kind of reaffirms for me that these are past memories.
It's a bit weird that history might be repeating itself, or the ancients seem to have been obsessed with eternal life, and some pirates in the Sea of Thieves also feel the same way. And they've achieved it, some of them as well. Did the ancients achieve it? They must have done, because, well, we see these memories now, and some of them we know exist in the Sea of the Damned, because Flameheart's got prisoners, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, because the ancients, we can assume that they wanted to bring the Sea of the Damned and the Sea of Thieves together as one, but we don't really know why. And it could also be that it's just one faction of the ancients that want to do this, which I don't think so, but that could also be the case.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as Mike Chapman says, we're going to get more ancient lore in the coming months, so look forward to that, and we'll probably get this explained again.
Probably. But another question about this, because we also fight the Soul Flame Captain. Oh, sorry, no. Let me dial back a little bit. We also fight the Reaper Phantoms, and those Reaper Phantoms are sent by Flamer Jr. They were sent to Belle to watch her, and when she got close to getting the Veil Stone, that's the moment when Flamer Jr. ordered them to appear and snatch the stone away from her. And that's also the reason why they attack at, when the ritual is completed. So that's why the Reaper Phantoms are there. Another character that appears is the Soul Flame Captain. And this time it's singular again. And sometimes they are referred to as plural. So we talked about this on a previous podcast before. But what do you think is up with the Soul Flame Captain this time?
Just getting really sick of the Soul Flame Captain, to be honest with you, mate. He just shows up everywhere, and we don't really know what he is, what he does, or what's his role. Does he need to be in the story? Probably not. And now he's back again, and it's like maybe he's a middleman for for Junior and the Reaper Phantoms, but then again, Flameheart's in the Sea of the Damned, so he can just send the Phantoms. Is he just like a tough pirate legend that just kicks ass and he just likes Flameheart, or is he just like I don't want to see him again. I'm fed up with him.
Yeah, I feel he's just more of a commander of the Reaper Phantoms, and Flamer Jr. is more of a commander of the actual Reapers.
Yeah, I think it was a way for them to make a Reaper boss without having to make a new asset and just use the Soul Flame asset and turn him into a Phantom. That's what I think.
Yeah, and he does wear a brooch, right, with the Reaper symbol on it.
He does, yeah.
Do you think something's up with that?
Well, we know the Pirate Lord was turned into a ghost using the Reaper symbol, so there's something up with that.
The Reaper symbol wasn't there an alpha for the Pirate Lord?
So when Mercia dies, she gives him the necklace with the Reaper's mark on it, and that's hinted to turn him into a ghost, and you see concept art of him wearing that necklace. And when you read the Reaper's mark sales, it talks about an insignia of the Pirate Lord, but also an insignia of any bold pirate. So the Reaper mark is significant to both Ramsey and Captain Flameheart. What the significance is, we don't really know, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. I'm just confused because the necklace he's wearing now has a Pirate Legend symbol, right?
Yeah, so who's got hold of that necklace?
Yeah, I just felt that it was the same necklace, only it got changed, but I might be wrong with that.
I think it's different based on the concept art and the book and the insignia on the sails as well. I think that that's missing for a reason. That's going to be a plot device.
But doesn't he need to wear the necklace, the Reaper necklace, to stay a ghost?
Um, Probably not. I guess it's just permanent when it happens.
Huh. Well, I guess so.
I mean, there's other ghosts in the Sea of Thieves that they may have come into contact with it, but they don't wear it, like Pendragon or Blind Bob or Legendary Luke.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're probably right. Yeah. So let's see. All right. So that covers the Soul Flame Captain. We want to know more about him. Uh, do we know the Ancient Priest? Is that a character we've seen before?
Mm. So here's the thing: we've got there's been 2 high priests at least in the ancient lore. So one was the one that tried to kill the warrior with the poison dart, and he gets yeeted off a cliff for his transgressions. And there's a second high priest that finishes the job. He creates, I think the first one's a filter to attract the warrior by mimicking the Sea Queen's voice, and then the second one does it to mimic the Siren Queen's voice. So the warrior swims up, thinks it's the Siren Queen, gets dragged aboard, taken away, and this second high priest does him in. He batters him, he kills him, whatever you want to do. One of those massive obsidian swords chops him up, puts his soul in the chest of unending sorrow, chest of everlasting sorrow, and then scatters his bones round, and then that's what happens. So there's been 2 high priests. I don't think this is either of them. And
I think so too.
I think the reason we get told that story is to show that the ancients aren't inherently good people. So the first one obviously tries to murder him for the sake of balance. The second one succeeds and binds him to stop him from, coming back and killing him or getting his revenge or what have you. And the third one was planning on bringing the worlds together, but he realized it was the wrong thing to do and obviously chose not to. So this guy doesn't sound like a bad guy compared to the other 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kinda.
But obviously the high priest is an important figure in our lore. And obviously we're going to know more about that position. Maybe the captain is the high priest, but I doubt that.
I doubt that too. But this figure is not marked as the high priest. When he talks, you see a speech bubble, and I believe it says ancient priest, so not ancient high priest. So I think this is a different character.
So you think this is a lesser priest, and he's sort of gone rogue, and then realised not to do it. But then the other, I guess, ancients, the one wearing the different masks, do say for the high priest, but
oh, I missed that.
But then again, the high priest is implied to be the leader of the ancients, but they might have a king as well. I don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know yet. I feel that if the high priest, I don't think that's the leader of the bunch. Just the most knowledgeable priest or the highest of the priests. I do believe they have a king or queen or whatever you have.
I think that Rare are very deliberate with their labels and subtitles and labeling objects and stuff, unless they mess up the assets for the Reaper's chests. Yeah, that can fly under the radar, but. Yeah, I think you might be right in the fact that he might not be the high priest because he's just labelled as ancient priest. Otherwise, they just put high priest just to make it a lot clearer for everyone.
Yeah.
They've deliberately not done that, so you might be onto something there.
Yeah, and I also feel that every priest is specialized in a certain magic. Like this one is specialized in the Sea of the Damned, and the high priest is specialized in potions and poisons.
Okay.
Yeah, because he used the potion to alter his voice, and then he used the poison as a poison dart, and this one, seems obsessed with the Sea of the Damned. So I feel each priest or each faction of the priest is specialized in something else.
I think it's just brilliant how he thought, I'm going to get the warrior with this poison. And the warrior's like, yeah, that doesn't do anything to me. Just throws him off a cliff on Snake Island, no less. It seems like.
All right, wait, on Snake Island?
Yeah, so the paintings on Snake Island retelling the story.
Oh, what does it depict?
So there's the snake, which is representing the high priest, and the warrior is there holding a spear this time. And I want to say there's a painting of someone being thrown off a cliff.
Hmm. Isn't that just a painting to show that the warrior is a great hunter as well?
I mean, he appears in places that are significant. So, like, he appears on Devil's Ridge because he hunts the boar, and he appears on Plunder Valley because that's where the eagle lives. So
Mm-hmm.
he's pictured with the eagle on his arm, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And he's pictured with the snake, which is the high priest on Snake Island. So it makes sense that that was significant, and that's probably where it happened, especially considering there's cliffs there as well.
Hmm. All right, interesting. I feel you can survive a fall from a cliff from Snake Island.
I don't know, like, I suppose he could have been thrown, or he killed him, then threw him from a cliff.
Huh. And I guess the seas could be lower too, right, in the past, because there's so many structures that are underwater.
Oh, yeah, that might have been the case because, oh no, the Sunken Kingdom, the shrine sunk, didn't they? Hence the term Sunken Kingdom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that is the case, but I guess normal people and getting thrown by a really powerful warrior that seems magical as well, you probably would kill him.
Yeah, I guess so. The final question I have for this part of the voyage: why are the ancients helping us?
So the ancients have this, what's the word? Like not a mission. What's the word I'm looking for, Blubber? Like a belief. Let's go with a belief. They have a belief that there should be balance in the Sea of Thieves, and that also extends to the balance between the Sea of the Damned, where dead people should reside, and the Sea of Thieves, where living people should reside. So Captain Flameheart doesn't want balance for his own gains. I think we all know that. So is that because he wants to bring his forces in from the Sea of Thieves, or that's because he just wants to get back to the Sea of Thieves? I think it's probably the latter. But in doing so, if he gets a hold of the Veil of the Ancients, he starts to bring people back to life that shouldn't be brought back to life. And that disrespects the balance of the Sea of Thieves. And this all circles back to how the Sirens destroyed the balance of the Sea of Thieves, so they decided to war with them. So in doing so, they have this, I guess, unending urge to protect the Sea of Thieves how it is, how we see it, and not anything to upset the balance. But again, I'm going on a tangent here, but they sort of hint that in the Sunken Kingdom that in doing so, they also do evil things to protect the balance of the Sea of Thieves, and that's not necessarily the right thing to do. They obviously have their reasons for not wanting the balance to be upset. They might know the reason for that. It could just be a religious thing, but we'll guess we're going to find out in the future.
I mean, bad things happen when a balance gets broken, right? It also started the entire siren curse, didn't it?
I mean, the sirens only became a problem because, the sirens weren't inherently evil. They're only evil because of what's happened to them and why the ancients and the other mermaids had wars with them. If your
I mean,
belief system makes you want to exterminate or exile another group of people, or in this case, mermaids, because they did something that was probably not a good idea, but they did it for love, as the story goes. If that's what you're doing, then is it really the right thing to do?
I mean, the balance was, no interspecies erotica, but the warrior wanted to get his dick wet, and that caused an imbalance, I guess.
Do we think the warrior was doing it because he loved the Siren Queen, or because he wanted to use the sirens for power?
I think there was love involved.
That would make it a more tragic story. The whole point of it is to make the sirens the victims, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in a sense, they are the victims until they went and just destroyed everything. But, I guess you would if that happened to you.
Well, they lost their song, didn't they?
They lost their song, they lost their king. And I think that technically they lost their home because they got exiled, didn't they?
Yeah, we still need to see the actual mermaid structures, mermaid villages, mermaid homeworld.
Hopefully they'll use those portals around the map for something.
I hope so too. So, anything else you want to add to this part of the voyage?
No, we covered it all, I think.
So let's go to the final part, and that's the Haunted Forts. So the final chapter of every Legend of the Veil voyage is a confrontation with Claymore Jr., who is hoarding a Veilstone in a phantom fortress. The main fortress is called the Garrison and is protected by a gigantic spectral tornado, which in turn is powered by 3 phantom encampments. While we are fighting ghost ships, we also destroy these encampments to make the tornado disappear. Then we attack the final garrison, and after some nice explosion effects, we grab the final Veilstone and complete the Veil of the Ancients. The Pirate Lord congratulates us on a job well done and gives us some hints to future adventures, And that's it. That's the end of the voyage. So do we like this final part?
It's lit. I really love it. Best part, one of the best parts of any voyages, let alone any part of storytelling in the Sea of Thieves. It's really good.
And I think the part that makes it so great is that it is kind of like an on-demand world event, which you can start if you want it for yourself, but other people can come in and destroy it as well and take all your treasures. So that's why I liked it.
They've shrouded spoils. That's a term I like using now. Some old mechanics. So they took the original forts, they made them stone indestructible. They took the ghost ships, added a different set of sails to them, and used them for a different purpose. So rather than patrolling the island where you have to take out the ghost ships, they use as a defensive mechanism for the forts. And I really like how the final fort has parts that you have to destroy and not just one big hitbox. That's a new thing for Sea of Thieves naval combat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I like the ghost ship voyages. I'm one of the few people that actually really like the Flameheart event. Bit too long, if I'm being honest, but I do like the naval combat. I always like being on helm too in these sections, and you know that. So it's good fun. It's great fun, and seeing those explosion effects is great. The tornado is great. Sounds is amazing. It's just a great finale. So lore-wise, are these also Spanish forts then?
Yeah, so it looks like the Spanish are lending their memories to conjure up these fortresses for Flameheart Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all there is to them, unless Flameheart or Flameheart Junior in the past has fought against the Spanish. Could be. We don't know yet. But yeah, I think that's what's happening here.
Do you think he uses the power of that last Veilstone to make these memory solids or to drag this from the Sea of the Damned?
So no. So in the book, in the Tall Tale book, it does mention, or Junior does mention, that Father has weakened the Veil already. So maybe he uses the Veilstone to power them up. But I think in this act of weakening the Veil, we already know Flameheart can drag things through, like the forts we see in the actual game. The what are they called?
Sea forts.
The sea forts, yeah.
Yeah.
That's done without a Veilstone, so I think this is the same principle.
Yeah, but the sea forts are done with a ritual that was taking place on Shipwreck Bay. So that's why the sea forts are here. I feel like you need to be, to have some pretty powerful magic to make that gigantic fort appear.
But this is Flameheart we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. But you don't think the Veilstone is involved, because after the voyage is done and we have the Veilstone, those forts disappear from the sea again.
Yeah, but they don't disappear immediately, do they?
No, they don't. That's true.
So who would be using the Veilstone? Is it the Phantoms, Junior? Like, no one's in the fortress to use it. But we do know the Veilstones can open portals to the Sea of the Damned, or parts of it, or weaken the Veil, whatever you want to call it. I think that is purely just Flameheart's doing, because he's done it without the Veilstones before, hasn't he? With Haunted Islands, Haunted Shores.
Haunted Shores, yeah.
So yeah, and we know he manifests himself as a head, and in Heartfire he's just sort of omnipresent. So I think that's within the realms of his power to do without a Veilstone.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and it doesn't really matter all that much, the story behind it, because there's so many possibilities now how you can bring memories and stuff from the Sea of the Damned. That's probably it's one of the many reasons why he's able to do that, right?
Yeah, it makes me wonder if he's able to do that. Will eventually, when he does come back, is he just going to get a fresh burning blade, or do you think he's going to have to piece the old one back together?
I think we'll get a cinematic trailer of the burning blade being back in the game with no explanation, and we have to ask Mike Chapman for confirmation.
I would really like a Tall Tale set where people are racing to piece the burning blade back together.
Would be really cool. I just picture the burning blade just being stuck in a Wanderer's Refuge.
Yeah, I think the rest of it is under the cave in Wanderer's Refuge. I don't think it's at the bottom of the sea, though, because it seems like it's implied that the cannon was dredged up, and the other pieces. But the fact the figurehead is like in the wall, it's almost like Flameheart's taken it apart and then hid it in caves, so it doesn't get rusty. Not rusty, wood doesn't rust. It doesn't rot, or the metal doesn't rust, etc. So you can put it back together later. And a quick tidbit of lore: the burning blade is in the record, vinyl storybook written by Merrick. It's implied that a piece of Flameheart is in the burning blade, hence that affected Wandering. That's how he got in her head. But it also mentions that when she went down to the Burning Blade wreckage, she brought the soul of the Burning Blade back, and that allowed Flameheart to conjure it. So it seems like he won't be able to pull that in as a memory. It will always stay as a ghost form. He'll need the physical one back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I guess we'll find out in the Heart of Fire novel, because that's where I think we'll find more about the Burning Blade.
Yeah, maybe we will. Definitely we'll find out about Flameheart, that's for sure.
Do you think? Yeah, the first chapter's about Flameheart, and then it goes into Blind Bob's adventures, and you're like,
We'll still be nice.
You get the book, and the dust jacket is the lovely cover up. We see it, and you peel it off, and it's Blind Bob's lagoon. This is what the fans wanted.
Aye, indeed. Something else I want to mention real quick, lore-wise, the ghost ships there are not from Flameheart's fleet, but are also from the Spanish fleet, because they have the sovereign symbol, with the cross blades and the crown there. I mean, the lore is pretty simple for this final part, isn't it?
Yeah, it's straightforward. Big tornado, see the damn Spaniards. They destroyed another emplacement. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that's a bit confusing, and we touched upon this before, is the banners, the Sea Dog faction banners.
Yeah, that's really strange. We discussed that before, but again, we'll see in the coming months what's going on with that. I hope, anyway.
So some ending questions then.
What about how did the veil end up in the Shrouded Ghost? I think that's an interesting one.
All right, let's discuss that. So how did the veil end up in the Shrouded Ghost? Was it an accident or not?
So it seems it was on purpose. I think this was patched in post-launch, because I don't remember seeing it before the patch was updated. But it looks like the veil stones were scattered around in different places, and the actual mask was yeeted in the Shrouded Ghost. There's a picture of the mask being eaten by the Shrouded Ghost. And I think the accompanying text is like, they destroyed the veil, so someone fed it to the Shrouded Ghost.
So originally the Veil of the Ancients was complete, was made by the Ancients, and then we think, the Ancients came to a realization like, this is a wrong artifact. Let's remove the stones and toss it in this megalodon.
Yeah, because who's gonna find it in a megalodon, especially one that keeps going to the Sea of the Damned and is already really rare,
Mm-hmm.
But it does prove that the Shrouded Ghost was around when the Ancients were, which is really important.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't white back then, right? Because
it got turned white because look what you've done to my lovely skin. I used to be a hungering one.
All right, and at the very end of the voyage, when we complete the Veil of the Ancients, Ramsey says we might use it again. So what will happen? Will we use the Veil in the future?
My fanboy sense wants it to be a Sea of the Damned expansion, because you could do that with the portals and it wouldn't affect the regular server performance. I think it's going to be a tall tale or something like that, and we're going to use the veil to go and destroy Flameheart once and for all. He's like, oh yeah, I planned this all along, I'm just going to walk out now, cheers lads. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to be part of an adventure, like a finale of an adventure where we travel to the Sea of the Damned to disrupt the plans of Flameheart?
See, cinematically, that'd be really cool, but developing the portals for a 3-week-long adventure sort of sucks a bit, that people will never be able to experience the Sea of the Damned using those portals, because then they'll just be relegated again to 2 tall tales, which, I don't really like the sound of, to be honest with you.
No, I kind of do. I like stuff, like these big moments that are time limited. I kind of like that. With the Shrouded Ghost as well, too, and with the Hungering Deep. Like, you had to be there.
Yeah, that's fine. I just think using something as big as the Sea of the Damned as time limited is a bit over the top. Like, imagine if Captains of the Damned and A Pirate's Life were time limited and you never saw those areas again. Imagine not seeing the Cursed Captain ever again. Think about that.
I know, I agree. I mean, it doesn't need to be like a big adventure like those Tall Tales, where it could be a bit smaller, but still, epic for an adventure. And alongside that, you can still have the expansion of the Sea of the Damned as well. Only not an adventure and a different part of the Sea of the Damned, obviously.
True. The portals are going to be used regardless, so we'll see what capacity that'll be in.
Obviously. I do hope they reduce it back to 1 portal. It's still annoying. I don't know about you. Are you still annoyed by all those portals all over the sea?
Yeah, literally in the video I'm posting tonight, which is the 8th, I'm complaining about it. So, yeah, it's just annoying having no visibility, and they're an eyesore, and 6 is OTT, especially considering Golden Sands, you can't start the Tales from there. Like, either use the one in the middle of the map at the Sea Dogs Tavern, or put one in the northwest corner and one in the southeast corner, or vice versa. But new players won't be able to find Jack Sparrow and stuff. Like, there's a giant green bloody tornado. Actually, there's 2 tornadoes now. That might be confusing. So yeah, I'll rescind that statement.
Yeah, but it's more like a new player. If they need to sail a long way, like the chance they encounter PvP or a Megalodon or a ghost ship, or sorry, a skeleton ship they can't handle is increased. So I feel that's the reason why.
Well, welcome to Sea of Thieves. It's not just Jack Sparrow and co.
I do agree with that, obviously.
No, I understand it. It's just, yeah, it's too many. I think they look ugly as well. Sorry, Rare. I like a pirate's life, but just not your portals.
Yeah, agree. So do you think we'll get more of these hybrid voyages, like these tall tale / voyage types?
Yeah, I think it's a good way of storytelling, and part of the reason the Legend of the Veil is so intriguing is because it ties the story in as well, and it presents it in an accessible way for people who don't really know the lore. Same with Adventures, really, where you're getting direct answers rather than tweeting Mike Chapman or watching Captain Falcor video. It's a good blueprint for making voyages, and I think they should continue this for not only more Legend voyages, but other faction voyages, whatever they might be.
Yeah, I mean, that was my follow-up question. Like, would you like it for the Pirate Legends or for the other companies?
I mean, they sort of did the story with the other 3 voyages, didn't they? So Gold Vaults was because they were hiding their loot from Captain Flameheart and the Reapers, so they're storing it in the vaults. In the, what's it called? Is it Lost Shipments, they call them? Lost Shipments. The Sirens were attacking the ships and dragging them down, and the Order of Souls voyages is that Flameheart was bringing ghost ships through the Sea of the Damned, even though there was a world event, but that's beside the point. Whereas the ones before would, Chief Trader Molly just wants golden pigs for her dinner, so that's the reason you're going to go catch all these golden pigs. So yeah, they've taken that concept, Shrouded Spoils it again, and just made it more interactive.
But do you think we'll get talking NPCs for those voyages? That's what I want.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd like to see Humphrey the Hoarder instead of going talk to me like a human being, or I love pigs lady with an actual proper line.
Yeah, that would be cool. What do you think is more likely? Do we get hybrid voyages for other companies, or is the next one going to be for Pirate Legends?
It's going to be for Reapers.
Oh yeah, sharp.
That, or it's a Pirate Legend voyage that you have to be a Reaper. Sorry, it's a Pirate Legend. It's a voyage with the Servant of the Flame, but you have to be a Pirate Legend or high-level Reaper to do it. But then again, Reapers really shouldn't have story voyages. But then again, if it's the Servant of the Flame, it makes sense. It's for Pirate Legends or the Reapers. That's what I'm going to say.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I feel it would be nice if it was Pirate Legends exclusive, so they always have this big content, a reason to be Pirate Legend. But I don't mind it for the other factions too, if they can think of something nice. The only thing I am a bit worried about is the future of this voyage, because obviously the story of the Legend of the Veil will move past the overall story of the Sea of Thieves. So are these voyages going to be altered, or do we get a new one and this Legend of the Veil story gets deleted?
We'll just get a new one, and this will stay as legacy content. It might not make sense, but the voyage is still fun. Why remove it?
Okay, because they have removed Flameheart as a head in the sky, and they hinted that we'll get that event back, but without the head. So they are, changing past content to fit the narrative of today.
Well, maybe they can just remove Ramsey from the voyage, so it stays relevant, because he's the driving factor of the story, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so, but then the West book still would not make sense then, right?
Yeah, it's if they do remove Legend of the Veil, that'd be really crap, wouldn't it? I can't see them doing that, considering they must have spent like a year on it.
I see them doing it for
a different voyage.
No. I see them removing the Legend of the Veil after a year when the story is not being relevant anymore, and then we get a new Pirate Legend voyage, and it kind of changes each year.
But then again, we have the Seabound Soul, and that doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah, that's true, but that was old Rare. That's what. That's when they were still trying to figure out how to do the storytelling in the Sea of Thieves, and then they thought, oh, we do tall tales, and that's a great way to do that. And now they kind of moved back from the tall tales, well, except Pirate's Life, obviously, and they're doing these adventures. So I don't know. They've learned from their mistakes. The same with the items too. You could lose items, and nowadays it's way harder to lose your quest items. So they learn from that, and I think they want to have an ongoing story, and tall tales or other content that stays the same doesn't really fit anymore.
God, do you think we won't get any tall tales anymore?
Maybe.
They sort of imply that they're not replacing tall tales, but I just can't see how this is going to work unless it's Pirate's Life tall tales, which would really suck.
Yeah, but we're gonna get 3 new adventures with the next season.
Yeah, 3 every season, so we've got 1 left, and then we've got 3 in season 7.
I'm personally fine with having my story fixed from these adventures. I don't really want those tall tales. I mean, obviously I want tall tales, but I don't really feel the need to have tall tales anymore.
I don't know, sometimes the adventures feel really shallow, so the first 2 were meh. They felt like Reaper runs in terms of story, whereas the last one, the finale, is going to feel sort of like a tall tale, but it's a tall tale that you can't play once the 3 weeks are up, which sucks a bit. I think tall tales still have a place, and I know others agree, as we spoke to with Foxdie before. Yeah, I think... So, for example, like, imagine if you had a big tall tale where Flameheart actually comes back, and that's just time limited. Like, imagine the sort of scope and the cinematic nature of it, and it's just gone forever. You can never replay it again. I can see why people don't like adventures for this, and it concerns me a little bit as the story ramps up.
Okay. What do you think is most likely? When do we see a new tall tale, according to you?
When Pirate's Life comes out next year.
All right. Okay.
Whoever's listening to this now, don't expect anything at E3. It's far too early for that.
Yeah, I feel the same.
If I'm wrong, I will eat my hat, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong about this one.
Yeah, I think you're right. Don't expect tall tales. Maybe expect something else. I do believe we get something big for Sea of Thieves, but it's not going to be a tall tale, and it's not going to be Disney related.
Maybe we should have a podcast about that, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see. We can discuss it. We still have 1 more podcast before the showcase, so maybe we can do a hybrid, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we need a full run about that. But yeah, that's a story. That's another story for another time.
Yeah, we'll discuss that when we're not recording. Again, I'm going over the notes. According to Rare Thief, you can make about 100k for each voyage, which is pretty nice. They also increase the value of the legendary chest, which is also nice because there's so much loot now, and so much loot is valued more than the legendary chest, which is a bit weird because it should be, an item that you really want. So they increased it a bit to how much? 10k, I think, a chest? Around 10k now?
9, sort of 11k.
So yeah, that's pretty nice. Also want to really quickly mention that it completes the season, because we had the Sea Forts at the beginning of the season and this Legend of the Veil voyage at the end of the season. So do you think we'll see something similar again, like with next season, that we get content in the beginning and then content in the second half?
No.
All right.
Yeah, just flat no. I think this is an exception. I hated they gave us the worst bit of content first, but story reasons, and I don't like having the content spread out because the start of the season feels crap. No offense, but Forts of the Forgotten. The forts were really fun, don't get me wrong, but it died so quickly. I can't believe it.
All right, I feel differently. I still like the Sea Forts. Just completed all my accommodations for them yesterday, so I'm a bit less inclined to do them. But whenever I got only a half hour to play, or I am waiting to record a podcast or something, yeah, I'll do a Sea Fort. I think it's great content for that.
The supplies are good. That's what I like about them.
That's true. Can't forget about that. Also, we mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast, but it took them 4 years. I mean, according to me, it took them 4 years to fulfill this Pirate Legend promise. This unique voyage that Pirate Legends get. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Seems Rare's got a bit of a thing for fulfilling their promises in 4 years, isn't it?
I'm just glad they're doing it. I mean, there's so many other game companies that promise us the world and they don't deliver. Rare does it, only it does it really late, but they're still doing it, right?
Yeah, like there's an element of Pirate Legends needed something because that was going to be the original first update, as anyone who follows us knows. But also, like, I think we're just going back to stuff for new players, and that really makes me sad. There's just gonna be new content, new stuff, easy players, easy PvP. Easy PvE. Everything for the baby day one player, and we won't get any other Pirate Legend updates for probably a couple years now. Yeah, that's just how Rare operate. No, it's just how Rare operates. If you want Game Pass subscribers, and like, this sounds really bad, but how often do you see good players wearing Pirate Emporium stuff?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, because they're all new players who see shiny stuff in the Emporium and buy it.
Right. Maybe you should just be nicer to those players, right?
No, they deserve not because they buy from the Pirate Emporium, but we're sinking everyone and anyone, or at least I am at the moment.
It's sad that those players put more money in the game than I do now.
And me, actually, maybe, I don't know.
Well, we keep the community alive, right?
Yeah, we're doing the community a service by sinking them all.
Oh, I was talking about creating content for YouTube. Oh well.
That's true. Yeah, feels weird to have the roles reversed since we first met, isn't it? Where you're the one who's restraint, and I'm just showing no restraint on the seas, especially to people who buy costumes from the Emporium.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I used to be really ruthless in the seas as well, but I'm just a nice guy these days.
It is Fuzzy Bond that changed your opinion, wasn't it?
He had a big part in it. I agree.
Exactly. Fuzzy, so if you listen to this, you're doing good. But also, the seas gained another bloodthirsty pirate in myself. So you need to convert more people, my friend.
But it more has something to do with, like, I want to sink people. I want my PvP, but there's nothing to gain for me to sink new players or newer players. I'd rather have them to have great experiences so they think this is a great game and keep on playing it, and eventually they get battle hardened, but they're already hooked by then. So that's how I see it. Yeah, I don't want them to think this game is not for them. I want them to have good experiences so they keep playing and experience everything this game has to offer and become longtime fans. And that's my goal.
I'm just hoping we run into a really good crew and have a really good fight. And we did have that when the arena closed at the start of Season 6, didn't we? We had a few cool fights, and that's sort of petered off now. We did have a good one the other day where we managed to clutch a win against the brig that absolutely took our masts down, but that was a clutch moment. But that's, I will never find anyone to satiate that lust for battle, as sad as it sounds. It's all new players.
You don't be too hard on me. I'm still a pirate, right?
if we were taking... Quickly, if we're taking sort of a spectrum of Vlek, you, and me, Vlek's the softest because he's just a nice dude. You're sort of the bridge between the two of us, and there's me. He's just become really bloodthirsty in the last few months. And I always get told, did you have to sink? Do we have to sink them? Like, yes, we're sinking them. We're taking their stuff and we're sinking them. And it's like, someone bring a storage crate over, I'm going to siphon the supplies. Yeah, all to fulfill the void of no love.
Anything else you want to mention about this voyage before we go to the messages?
Yeah, Rare, just please make more of this stuff. We love it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Yeah, I know.
So let's go to the message in a bottle, a segment of the podcast where our listeners can send in their own questions and, hey, we answer them. So if you want to send your own questions, you can join the Salty Hippo Discord. Link will be in the YouTube description. And we again have wonderful questions. Our subscribers are so good. They think of the best questions. So let's start with Jack. He asks us, should Pirate Legends get a yearly voyage like Legend of the Veil that is tied to the lore? Or would you prefer different Pirate Legend updates like Shores of Gold voyage or Captaincy? And I don't know why he said Shores of Gold, but more maybe he means a big tall tale that's exclusive to Pirate Legends.
Sorry to butt in. He's referencing that we were told we'd have a reason to return to the Shores of Gold, possibly tied with a voyage, Pirate Legend voyage. I think Valcor revealed that, and he was allowed to. Unless he was trolling, I don't think he was. I will send you the video if I can find it. So we were meant to have that, and that was speculated to be a Pirate Legend voyage, but we just haven't seen it. So that's what he's referring to.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, should Pirate Legends get a yearly reward like that?
Yeah, I think dedicating 25% of your update to Pirate Legends, your most engaged players, is a healthy way to not only make your end game better, but also encourage new players to carry on and grind to Pirate Legend for all those lovely rewards, and your engaged players to come back to the game. And, for the people like you who've done everything, there's new stuff to do, like grinding your Athena up or getting new combinations or cosmetics. It's a healthy way to update the game.
Yep. I think they can do it at least 2 more times to get more times, because I want the level cap too to increase each time they introduce a new voyage for the Pirate Legends. I think that would be a great idea to do that.
Yeah, you could do up to 50 or, even 100 if you want to go for the full 10 years for Sea of Thieves.
Eventually, I want everything at 100, including the Hunter's Call.
Yeah, but ideally I'm not sure about Hunter's Call.
Just wait, they'll get good voyages, don't you worry.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to do 100 months to get all my letters of recommendation. That's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? How many 100 months is nearly 10 years?
We will still be playing by then, so.
Yeah, we will actually. Sea of Thieves 2 then. But to answer Jack's question, if we had Legend of the Veil now, then we got captaincy for Pirate Legends only, and then another voyage maybe, some new cosmetics, and maybe like some sort of end game raid system that I think Pirate Legend was always envisioned to be, and maybe a Sea of the Damned just for the Pirate Legends. That would be perfect, I think. And once you get that level of content, you don't have to touch Pirate Legend anymore.
But do you think they will look captaincy behind Pirate Legend?
No, not in a million years. This is Rare, who cater for the day one swabbies who download Game Pass, get sunk, and then don't play the game ever again.
Hi, and I feel the same way. I think captaincy is going to be for everybody, but I feel it should be exclusive for Pirate Legends. Yeah.
You and everyone else in this community, my friend.
And a hideout, right? Like a personal hideout that should also be tied to Pirate Legends, I feel.
Or like at least spawning in the hideout would be nice. Make it more of a social hub. Not in the main game because safe zones are stupid, but a social hub where you're mixing with other crews. But then again, we had that with the Arena Tavern, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, that's true. But it's was it Foxeye that said it? Like the same thing happens in Adventure. If you just put people together and let them talk, you're gonna have those conversations anyways.
I wouldn't call them conversations when someone's calling me a slur down the microphone for wearing the action colours. I don't know, I wouldn't class that as a two-way street to me, but, each to their own.
All right.
But yeah, he's correct, to be fair to him.
Alright, so thanks for the question, Jack. We totally agree. We would like to see more Pirate Legend stuff, and a yearly basis, a yearly voyage would be really great. So the next question comes from Ilwalsh. The lore on the Ancients is quite ambiguous. Can you guys elaborate on what we learned? And I'm confused whether the priest is a high priest from the Sunken Kingdom story, because the subtitles call him Ancient Priest, but the other NPCs shout for the High Priest.
Again, we discussed before, they might not be talking about the ancient priest that does the ritual.
Yes.
So
that's true.
I think that's the case.
And I also think that's the case. I also know Ilwatch has another theory about the ancients moving to the Sea of the Damned. I see where he's coming from, because that was also my first impression when I did Legend of the Veil voyage. I was like, alright, these ancients, they left on in the Sea of the Damned and they're now being pulled from it. But again, as I discussed before, I'm more inclined to believe that these are just memories from the past.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's possible that those memories, those prisoners Flameheart has our memories. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think because that's true actually, because in the Force of the Forgotten trailer, the Spanish jailer says, or the Spanish naval officer says, there's more than one way to lock someone in the cage. So it seems like he's locking a memory in a cage. I think that's what's implied.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, so I don't think this ancient necessarily escapes to the Sea of the Damned to escape the Shroud, because the Shroud seems to be a force of nature that protected them.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think the Shroud's going to decide that one day it's going to engulf the whole Sea of Thieves.
I don't know. It's a form of nature, right? And it ebbs and it flows. The Devil's Roar was once covered in the entire Shroud.
Yeah, but does that make it uninhabitable? Because people can move through the Shroud, can't they, and not die?
Yeah, but it's hard, isn't it? Like your ship is creaking and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're not personally affected by the Shroud. Your ship is.
Yeah, but if your ship, I mean, if the veil is really thick, sorry, the shroud is really thick, then maybe your ship will sink, and if your ship sinks, then well, it won't be long before you die, right?
Yeah, but the ancients are on land, so they don't have to worry about drowning.
Oh well, they go from island to island, right?
Yeah, but I guess they're nomadic people, but maybe they'd be cut off and die. But personally, I don't think that's the reason for them escaping or going extinct or whatever you want to talk about it.
I just see like there has to be a reason, and to me, I kind of like this theory that Ewald has. Yeah.
You don't think Flameheart killed them all?
No.
Don't think the Captain did it?
No.
Don't think the Sirens did it?
Well, some, but not all of them.
Belle, maybe?
Nah, Belle's a good girl.
Incompetent, but good girl, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think then? Why did the ancients disappear?
I don't think it was necessarily anything to do with the Shroud, but obviously they poking into things all the time, like curses and gold and merfolk magic and stuff. It could be that they just up and left because just for no reason, really. Or
Right.
went extinct because of wars, or as implied that they lost their best warriors and became soft living in the Shroud. Could the Spanish have come through and killed them?
Well, the Spanish have done that before in history, so could be the case.
And that's why. Oh, quick super theory here. Spanish come in, kill the ancients. Flameheart's an ancient, doesn't like the Spanish, kills the Spanish, enslaves them. Perfect. Flameheart is the warrior. There we go. Proof in the pudding.
Yeah, jury's still out in that one. We'll see.
I just proved it to you, that theory. It makes so much sense.
I don't think they'll be inclined to work together with Flameheart if he killed them. I feel they'd be reluctant, and I don't really get that vibe from them.
It's either get locked in the cage forever, for eternity, or join Flameheart and drink from the sippy cup that you're looking for anyway.
Join the guy that killed you. Was like, fuck you.
They had it coming if they did that to the ancients, though. But then again, the ancients weren't nice people, so maybe the ancients had it coming. A lot of people in the Sea of Thieves have things coming to them, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. But to keep the conversation focused, do you think we'll find out eventually what happened to the ancients?
Yeah, I think that'll be sort of like maybe not in this arc, but the last sort of act. We'll learn what happens to them.
Aye. All right. So thanks for that question, Eelwash. Like I mentioned before, we kind of touched on this mainly when we discussed that section, but your question was definitely in my mind when we did that. So the final question comes from Tizar. On the home menu, the Ancient's mask has 5 stones in it, and we were only told to look for 3. Do you think there is a reason, or is this just a mistake?
No, there's a reason for that one. There's obviously more stones.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of avoided this question too because I knew it was coming. And you're totally right, Teaser. There are 5 stones in the mask in the title screen. Originally, we talked about this, I think yesterday too, when we were doing the Legend of the Veil voyage. There are 4 parts to this voyage. So we have the Suds, Bell, the graveyards, and then the final part that's always the same. I feel that it might have been a gameplay perspective, that they were originally testing it with all the parts, and you need to get 5 stones, and they kind of completed one of those sections already, and one didn't really work out, or they figured out this voyage is way too long, we need to make it 3 stones. So that's my reasoning behind it.
I think it's going to be a lore thing where the Veil stones will come back, and maybe all 5 of the stones cause something to happen. I don't know. But 3 might be enough to properly part the veil. 5 might be enough to do something even more calamitous.
Like bring Flameheart back, maybe?
Maybe he needs all 5. Maybe that's the thing. It does beg the question, though. Is Flameheart got a body in the Sea of the Damned and he'll just walk out? Or does he need his old one? Or will the mask provide a new one for him? Or Maybe
Yeah.
the mask is his. I don't know. There's a lot to take in with this story that's involved. Sorry, this story that is unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's lore reason rather than gameplay.
I think it might have started as a gameplay reason, but like Sea of Thieves usually does, they can think of good answers why it makes sense for the lore as well.
Yeah.
And he also has a follow-up question, which we also kind of answered at the end. Ramsey says, I may call upon you to use its power not long from now. And he asks us, what do you think that means? Well, I think it means we're going to use a vil again. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So there we go. So thanks for submitting those questions. Always appreciate it. Again, make sure to join the Salty Hippo Discord if you want to submit your own questions. I always post an announcement when we are close to recording a new episode. I also want to remind our listeners that this podcast is also on Spotify and Amazon Music. So if that's more convenient for you, you can listen to us there. Keep in mind that new episodes premiere on YouTube first and will be on Spotify and Amazon a few days later. And you can also follow us on Twitter at BestCOT Podcast. Link for that will be in the description. So, we've come to the end of the podcast, and I want to thank our wonderful co-host, AShinyRay, for being amazing. And can you tell our listeners where they can find your content?
As always, you can find me on YouTube. Just type in the search bar AShinyRay or Captaincy Update. That'll do as well. As I mentioned last time, my video should come up. Drop a like, give me a subscribe, leave a nasty comment, and yeah, thanks. That's where you can find me.
We should do a soundbite so we don't need to do it again. Just can play the ending every time.
Edit that shit in.
And you can find me on YouTube at Captain Blubber. Just type in Captain Blubber and you will find me. Make sure to give this podcast a thumbs up. That's always appreciated. And let us know how you feel about this voyage in the comments. So that's it. Thanks again. Drink some grog, collect some stones, and have an amazing day. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.